So in this problem, we're going to graph the algebraic inequality x is greater than negative 2.5. So the tools that you're expected to use to graph this are over here in formative on the left side, and it's the circle tool under the shapes. And the fill circle if we need to for the inequality, we'll click it. If we don't need it filled, we need an open circle, we'll leave it off. You have color options here as well. And the other tool we need to use is the line tool when we're drawing or shading our inequality. And I like to choose a thicker line and a different color other than black for the number line. Since the number line is done in black, I'll choose a different color to make my shade left or right of that endpoint that we figure out. So this inequality, if I describe it, it's saying, hey, any number I pick that will work for this inequality has to be bigger than negative 2.5. So this right here is my endpoint. So I'm going to go down to the number line and I'm going to identify where I find negative 2.5. Well, if we're counting, we go negative 1, negative 2, and then we go halfway between negative 2 and negative 3. So it would be to the left of negative 2, to the right of negative 3, halfway. So it'd be about right there. And now what I need to do is consider whether I'm using an open dot or a closed dot on that endpoint. So the first thing I'm going to do is label the endpoint negative. Ooh, that's kind of a big pen. I'm going to thin that out by choosing my skinnier pen. And it's right here, negative, whoops, look at the pen tool, negative 2.5. So I'm just going to label that endpoint so I know what that circle represents. And when I pick my circle, I'm looking at this inequality. The inequality right here does not have the equal bar on it. So because it doesn't have the equal bar, I'm going to use an open circle for negative 2.5 right there. You don't want to make your circle huge like this or like this, because that's covering the entire gap between negative 2 and negative 3. That's not very accurate. So just a simple dot indicating, hey, this is negative 2.5 and it's reasonable in there. Now I have to decide which way to shade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 0 as my test point. I'm going to plug 0 in for x, and I'm going to just rewrite the inequality that's there. 0 is greater than or equal to negative 2.5. And you might not have needed to use a test of 0. You might have already understood that you are going to shade to the right. You're going to shade this side of the endpoint. Remember, our endpoint splits our number line here into the ones that work. Those are called solutions to the inequality. And the ones that don't work. They're on this side. So the half we need to shade are the half that work, the right side of this inequality. So I am going to, let me just erase that mark right there. I'm going to go up to the line tool. I'm going to make it a thicker line. I'm going to leave it purple. And then I'm just going to start on my negative. Oop, I must be with the eraser. Putting that back. I'm going to start on my, pick the line tool, I'm going to start at my negative 2.5. I'm going to run my segment here to the right, and I'm going to turn it into array. I'm going to put an arrow on the end saying, hey, that keeps going. Goes past this arrow all the way to negative infinity. So what we just did is we graphed the solutions to this inequality. Any number that is bigger than negative 2.5 will work in this inequality. So, for example, just to make a point, that the number that goes right up against negative 2.5 here is negative 2.49999, repeating infinitely many times. That's the smallest number that will work, and anything bigger than that. Negative 2.5 will not work because it doesn't have the equal bar right here. If it had the equal bar, we would include that as a shaded dot. So that's it.